What up? It's what incredible man. Yes, I'm back at it again, and this is Vinland Saga episode 7 discussion slash review. Okay, man. Let's be real. It was good. It was good. It was another great episode. The action was there, but it wasn't like super heavily action packed until it got to that towards the end with that the whole fight scene where they were taking over the fort. But it wasn't too much action going on. We just got a lot of action clips here and there where they just showed little bits and pieces, and it was more mellowed out than I thought it would have been this episode. What do we get? First off, we start off where we see the king talking to uh, Thorfinn's dad's friend, well, if you can call him that, since he set him up to be killed. But we see the king talking to him, telling him that they're not going to attack the English anymore. They're going to take a break, and then they're going to attack them in the summer. I think that's what he said. And that's when they're going to attack them again. I think he said summer. I'm not totally sure. Hold on, let me see. No, that's not it. I think he said summer. I'm not sure. We're going to let them rest, and then we're marching in the winter weakens them. Let the soldiers rest. Okay, so he was going to let the soldiers rest, and then they were going to attack the English in the summer. I think that's what. Yeah, the summer. Okay, so we got that in the very beginning, and that was just a nice little side introduction to I guess show focus on him, since we haven't seen him in a minute. But then we jump back and we see the rest of the crew of. I finally figured out his name, Askeladd's crew, and we see them on a boat. On their boat, just having a nice peaceful time sailing, because now they have to find something to do to keep them fed and clothed and everything, and eat and live, because the dude said he didn't need them anymore, since they're not attacking the English anymore. They don't need the mercenaries slash pirates to help them fight them and fend them off, so they have nothing going on. They're just sailing the seas, broke, hungry, and so what do they got to do? They decide to go to another land, which this time it is the French. I think it's actually French fighting the French, and they want to. This one guy just wants to take over this castle or town or whatever, and they're going to sell their services, which is nice. But what I want to talk about was the whole, before they got there, was the whole little boat ride while they're on their way to the island or place or whatever. The animation in every episode is always so fantastic, but in this episode, certain scenes look so wonderful. Like seeing Askeladd standing at the foot of the ship, and was like, well, at the head of the ship, and when they just zoomed in on his face. It looked fantastic, man. Then we got the what were they? Seagulls? I think it was seagulls. I hope it was seagulls. But anyway, the birds, we have them flying in the sky, and they zoomed in on the feathers and everything. Everything in this episode looks fantastic. You could tell that the animation budget for Vinland Saga is absolutely wonderful, man. I don't care what anybody says. One of the best shows to be animated this season. Then they pan over and show the whole isle or island of itself, and it shows everything. Like the attention to detail in Vinland Saga is always spectacular, whether it's the blood or the little subtleties of the characters, or when they're moving and stuff. Certain parts are always seen and highlighted so wonderful. Okay, they get to the island, and we see that, like I said, we see that it's two warring French people trying to fight each other, and one's trying to take over the castle that the other one's already living in, or the town or whatever. And Askeladd tells, well, they were going to help, and they wanted to help these people because we know that they're not there just to be nice. They wanted to take over, and they wanted to get the jewels or the food or whatever was in that little village. They wanted to take it, so they used a sneaky tactic, man, which was very good. They used Thorfinn to go negotiate with the interim king or whatever he was, to take over, to work with him to kind of get, well, yeah, if you let us work with you, we'll help you take this castle, and we'll just split the gold or split the treasures that's within the walls. And he was like, yeah, sure, that's gonna work. But it was nice to see all of that kind of transpire, because we've seen another beast side of Thorfinn. He was like, what did I say? How many people have I killed? Where's my fight? and Askeladd was like, I'll give you 3 gold coins. He was like, no, no. And you could tell that must have been a lot because the people behind him was like, that's a lot. And then he was like, that's not what I want. You know what I want. And he was like, nah, yeah, I know what you want, but if you bring me the head of a captain or something, then I'll reward you with the fight or the duel. So this episode was kind of, I assumed that they were going to focus heavily on Thorfinn killing a captain or something so he can get his duel with Askeladd. But yeah, everything, it was pretty slow. It was pretty mellow until it just picks up. So Thorfinn gets there. He discusses his whole negotiation probs with the interim king dude, which, look, let's be real, dude was funny looking, man. Dude's head was this big, his mouth was this wide, and his teeth was like all filled up his whole mouth. Dude looks like a little troll running around talking about trying to be king. But so at the end, he agrees, and they decide to let Thorfinn and Askeladd help them take this castle. So then after Thorfinn signals Askeladd, they decide to go up the back of the mountain so they can sneak around. And when they do, some of the king's men see the boats just walking up the mountain. They talking about and they screamed and upset because it's a dragon. We seen a dragon just walking up the mountain. So then that happens, and then we see the whole thing, and the next day comes, and they're starting to raid this castle, well, town or whatever, and Thorfinn just leaves. He was like, you know what? Well, I'm done with this. I'm going. So he just ran straight up to the place, and dude, the cinematography in this episode and the score that was constantly played throughout the whole episode. This is why I'm so hyped for Vinland Saga, and I can't believe I know a lot of people watch it, but for those that don't, you guys are missing out, man. You're missing out on cinematic gold and such beautiful scores that's played throughout this whole episode, and it's absolutely fantastic, man. So Thorfinn jumps, which was a great shot because they kind of showed him running. They shot angles from the ground, and then they showed him jumping, and it panned the whole thing with him jumping. So whoever edited this and shot this whole thing, major props, because this was absolutely fantastic. So then we get there, and he's climbing up the building, and at that time Askeladd and everyone else are running across the field to jump into the lake that's around the whole place to catch the other guys off guard. And as they're doing that, they're getting shot with arrows, and next thing you know, you see Thorfinn going through straight, killing all of these dudes that's up there that's shooting arrows at them. And though granted, he didn't care that it was shooting arrows at them for some reason, but he just wanted that head so he can get that duel with Askeladd. So dude came through, and the first dude that he attacked chopped all his fingers off. I don't know if anybody else seen it, but like that is what I'm talking about, the detail to that, because he came in, he slung his dagger, and it chopped the fingers off, and you saw the fingers flying through the sky. Dude, that is what I'm talking about. And then the movements that when he was on top of the castle little place, and like the shots that was coming like this and like at different angles, that is what's the greatness of Vinland Saga, man. And they gotta get on this, man. And then he just comes, and like when they shot the shot of him taking off the captain's head, they zoomed in on the knife, and the knife came all like that, and it showed him cut off the head. And yeah, this is definitely not for kids. This is definitely for older people, man, because Vinland Saga is graphic, but I love it. It does such a great job. So then that happens, and Askeladd and the whole crew, they come in, and they kind of just raid the whole town, and they just mollywop these guys, man. These guys didn't have stand a chance trying to fight them, and they just got obliterated. What happened after that? Oh, then the king and his crew kind of just came in to help with the attack, and by that time everyone was already dead. But another moment that I want to touch on was when the king's crew was ramming the gate. I don't know if you guys saw this, but what I love is that another attention to detail that they paid was the guy that was standing up there blocking the gate. Like when they rammed it, they hit him too, and they showed the indentation on his body and him flying back with blood and everything. That is so nice. You don't see that in every anime. Like stuff like that would have just got breezed over, or you wouldn't have seen it in a frame. It just would have got skipped. But they showed that, and that was very, very wonderful. So then they come in to try to take all the treasure and everything and screw them over, because the king was like, yeah, well, they helped us, but yeah, they'll become enemies later. So we'll just kill them when they go back up the trail. We'll just catch them off guard and kill them. But so we knew that they weren't going to trust these guys for good anyway. So when that happens, we see another shot with Askeladd and everyone else on their boat loaded with treasure. There's no treasure for the king. And he was like, what's going on now? He's so mad. And so they're just off and they're just left with the treasure. I'm not upset. I think the king got what he deserved because, I mean, you were trying to screw these people over after they helped you. So they just screwed you before you could screw them. So it is what it is. But, then we get on the boat and we see what do we see? We see Askeladd kind of being all jolly and cheery and everything. And Thorfinn, they thought Thorfinn had died, but he had went and found the head. And he threw it on the boat and he was like, and before I mentioned, when he got on the boat and he got out of the water, I don't know if you might have seen it, but like his clothing, the way that his clothing was shown, like it was wet. It wasn't just darkened or like it looked damp. It looked like real shiny and glossy, like he had just got out of water. That see, man, nobody pays it. That's the stuff that I'm talking about. That's super fantastic. Then he tells Askeladd, all right, where's my duel? And then the people are constantly shooting arrows at him. He was like, well, I'll give you your duel, but I can't give it to you like right now. Can we get out of here first? But another thing that I want to touch on was all of the emotions that that Thorfinn felt in this episode, like when he was angry, when he was ticked off and all that other stuff. The animators and the voice actors, they're so good, man, because you felt everything. Like when he was angry, you felt all of that, even the little subtleties, like when they made it in his face in an animation, you seen it and you could feel it coming and vibrating off the screen. That's the stuff that makes Vinland Saga such a great anime, man. But that's all that happened this episode, man. This is your boy Dick Incredible. Don't forget to smash that like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe, but only if you really want to, man. Peace out. But always remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. And Vinland Saga is wonderbar, man. Peace out.